about 15 minutes left, so that's where we're pushing. But
well, that's the thing. I have an estuary going on in my house in a little bit,
okay,
so I can't stay either.
okay,
Um,
okay.
uh, and but the thing is, what I've been trying to call out from the comments and stuff. Did you guys listen to the Elon Musk Joe Rogan thing?
I did. I did.
Yes.
It wasn't a great discussion. What I liked about it was they were living in the same reality, right? When Joe Rogan and Elon Musk wanted to roast, uh, you know, transgender athletes competing against girls, it was obvious what. I mean, it's like, no, this is ridiculous, right? Um, or when they were talking about Obama repeating the fine people hoax on Twitter, right? It was like, if both of them rolled their eyes. I just, I, I want to go back to a world where we're dealing with the same facts.
Shared reality, like you said.
This goes back to what Christian was invoking with that shared fundament, that shared normative vision, that shared perspective on the world. And I think in a weird small way, whatever you want to name this group of misfits, it's like we're in the midst of the chaos, trying to reboot, trying to scramble together something like that so we can have these conversations, right? Because the symbolism happens thing was resonating with me, because I don't think there's a better symbol for America right now than President Biden. I really don't. I think he's utterly perfect for what this nation is. And so you have these views of this hopeful dream, this hopeful trajectory. Look at Elijah. Gosh, is he going to be at your estuary, Jacob?
He better be. Elijah lives. Elijah lives like less than a block away from me.
You got such a special.
He's not going to walk down the block. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah, you got a special crew over there. But my point, let me finish, is that's why that resonated with you, Jacob, is because, like you said, they are seeing the same reality. And so when that has dissolved and you have these idiosyncratic takes on reality, and then they're coalescing around these two opposing symbols that are trying to gesture towards a trajectory toward the future, they become in diametrically opposed. They become like they have to do battle. It's almost this the idea of that Peterson will talk about the ancient way of the tribes came together and their gods would do battle, and then the god that came out victorious. Well, that's what would realign and reorient and recoalesce this group into some kind of larger entity. And so what I'm worried is that the only way out is through, and that I think why I spend so much time here is that I think there is only the only hope I see is this certain grasp. Like, yes, I have my political opinions and I sure voted, but I just, and I totally resonated with what you said about the Elon Musk and Rogan conversation. What I'm worried is that I don't know how much there is there as practicality. What I do know is that we can do the best we can together, spread our tendrils out, have your estuaries, keep on influencing those people. I took what Michael's comment was as the young people, as people in the schools who have been totally dominated by a certain worldview and are just being marched into the ballot box, and it's not. And here's the thing: you also said that was magical, or I thought very, very deep. Was it's not even necessarily the vote. It's the worldview that is being impressed on them. That's what's the real value that they're saying. They're impressionable, willing to imbibe this authoritarian, this figure of authority's worldview that their parents have entrusted them. They send them to school. They say, you have to go to school. You need to go to college even. And that worldview, they just go ahead.
I agree with you, Jacob, because that's what I keep referencing to 2020 when I say I watch New York Post Hunter Biden laptop disappear on Twitter. Like, and then, you know, you're called crazy for conspiracy theories on that and stuff. Like, that is what they're talking about. That's what you're talking about, is a shared reality. And I mean, because I mean, like I said, it made me feel crazy to have that kind of gaslight constantly, feeling like it constantly happened. And so
Right.
I'm not gonna, I've tried to share that. I'm not gonna get preachy about it, but I agree with you. That's what I want to say.
So
You know what
I have a picture of the Yanuka on my wall. I don't have a picture of Donald Trump on my wall. I don't think he's the Messiah, right? Yeah. I think he's the Messiah. I don't think Donald Trump's the Messiah. I sometimes provocatively will say, no moral person would vote for Kamala Harris. That gets people's hackles up. When at the exact same time, there are plenty of people saying no moral person would vote for Donald Trump, and that doesn't get anybody's hackles up. Well, hello, what exactly is going on here, right? A bunch of Orthodox rabbis, clue, a third of them were women, came out with a letter saying there were only 30 of them. Whatever, saying the only moral choice is Kamala Harris. It's like, what are you talking about? Right?
It's the only boo-moral choice.
Exactly. I had a very nice discussion on my channel with Tracing Wood. He's on X. I highly recommend it. I had an incredible discussion with him. He voted for Harris, and he gave reasons why he voted for Harris, but none of them were the type of gaslighting thing. And the fact is, when you're not gaslighting, when you're actually having a conversation, there's a reason why Joe Rogan. I listened to Fetterman. Did you guys listen to Fetterman?
I did.
It's worthwhile listening because I found out, yes, he's had a stroke, but he's still smarter than Kamala Harris, and B, when he started getting pushed on immigration and on voter ID, it became really obvious. Sorry, you're not leveling with us, sir, right? And that's why in this little corner, or the Jordan Peterson sphere, you ended up having the event you did in Washington where Jordan Peterson was endorsing Donald Trump. Brett Weinstein was endorsing Donald Trump. And look, I asked the question I did about our channels getting demonetized. If you're serious about what we're doing here, they are trying to oppress. Both Tim Walz and Kamala Harris during this election ran on suppressing the possibility of people like us having the types of conversations that we will have. And Rachel Maddow yesterday was talking about Elon Musk being his businesses being destroyed, the California Coastal Commission. I mean, I should be preaching to the choir here, but apparently I'm not.
You are.
And Jacob, I think it's really fun that I agree with all your political takes and none of your religious takes. It's just like a fun thing about human nature that, you know, I can be such your doppelganger and kindred spirit, and
well, that's the point of politics.
In certain buckets.
That is the point of politics, though. Politics is supposed to be more uniting than religion, not less reuniting than religion.
I don't know how to square that one, but I would say, but
it's true though. Think about it, Christian.
I will have to think about it. The thing I want to say is that the politics, the nature, like you were saying, of what are we doing on here? I can't help, for me, when I look at what was happening with speech 2016, why it all came to the head. And even my conversation with the Zoomers that I had that you referenced last night. Thank you, Jacob, for that. But like, there is a tangible difference to what we have right now. And it feels like people maybe have short memory, or they don't want to believe that things were as bad as they were. I don't think they're as bad right now as they were 5 years ago.
When it comes to online speech, I am like so like bitter and angry and traumatized and reactive around like how I personally have been treated over the last 8 years and how I've seen other people be treated around across the last 8 years. Feels like everything I feared, that I never wanted to come to America, that I never wanted to be here. When I was a kid, I read about the Soviet Union. I said, we're not like them. And I was happy that that was the case. And all of that has come to pass. Well, not quite to that extent, but that's like the spirit that is stalking America. Now, it's not coming. I think it's not entirely coming from the political realm. Like, it's mostly coming from a more diffuse place, like the people that run these platforms. But there is like to hear Waltz and Kamala and Clinton and many other people start talking about misinformation and hate speech and all this. I'm like, oh, you guys, it's starting to seep up into the elected representatives too. And I'm incensed. I'm angry. I hate it.
Jacob, if Elon Musk had not bought Twitter, we would have no voice. They would have done more. And if you look at the Twitter files, you will see that it was the Biden administration which had Jay Bhattacharya removed. I'm sorry, but no. Our political class has been behind censorship. And I was so disappointed when the supposedly conservative Supreme Court threw out Jay Bhattacharya's censorship lawsuit on standing grounds. But nobody seems to be paying attention to that.
I have like folders and folders of bookmarks about, all these things that make me angry, that shouldn't have happened, that people don't talk about. Like, I have like this whole folders of bookmarks that is like my alternative worldview, that, if I start talking about the things that I care about, the facts, the things that happened, I'll look like a crazy man in front of someone that's not prepped on any of this. But I have, those are my receipts, right? Like when I really want to, be in my like niche, underground, bitter worldview, I'm like, these are the things that make me not crazy and them crazy.
Yeah.
Because these are the things they're not talking about that they should be talking about.
I don't know if they're crazy, but aren't paying attention. But
no,
I want to finish. I want listen. It's okay. You can be mad at me. I'm going to tell you my perspective. I can be wrong. That's fine for me. But I have the same kind of folder on my Twitter. I'm trying to say, and I have. But to live in relationship with people that don't care that much, you can't stay in that headspace. It's not. Right. And I don't know if you, Jacob, Kamal, you feel that way. And now, like, I can't stay there all the time. It's not good to stay there all the time. And so I'm having to learn how to change that. And so, and the way that I bring that into online spaces, the way I want to have conversations about that, I don't want to be in that headspace trying to have a conversation on the internet most of the time. But I do want to, I will acknowledge that I agree with you. Like, but that's just not where I'm at right now. Maybe I will, or maybe I won't be. But that's.
But Christian, okay, we all do that. I do that in my normal life. We all do that because we realize, okay, we've got to live with the people we live with. But that's not what we're doing here.
Well, I mean, it's not completely separate for me. So I think that, and so I don't know.
I don't come to TLC necessarily for like my, based political takes. I feel a little bit like I'm transgressing norms when I get too object level political here. Maybe I just haven't quite read the room right. But I had a thought that I'd like to share, which is this morning, my church had a prayer service for Election Day. We sang the Akathist to the Archangels, and a bunch of people came. And, my church is pretty split politically. It's not hardcore conservative or liberal. There's a lot of libs, The priest is quite conservative, and he has a big, influence, but it's very mixed. And I saw like one of my liberal friends at church today, like at this prayer service, praying for the country. He had his Ukraine shirt on. He's never been to Ukraine, but that's kind of one of his, causes. And with these people, like I agree with all their religious takes and none of their political takes. It's like the opposite of me and you, Jacob. And so like I have to. There is some core of me that's neither my political self nor my religious self that needs to relate to, nor my, I guess partisan religious self or denominational self that needs to relate across the aisle, across to people like y'all and people at my church that are libs for some reason still. And that's the challenge of being alive.
All right, I've got to go. Jacob, how does it work with the streaming? If you want to keep this going for your channel.
if you end the stream, it's going to end my stream as well, and I have to go as well.
Okay.
The estuary starts in 20 minutes. So
okay, guys. Hey, thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone in the Hive Mind that's been on tonight. Thank you, Matthew, for being my co-host tonight, sticking it out, and for everyone that's still here, Jacob, and Michael. And for people that sent up questions, thank you, Jacob Federici, for your super chat support tonight. And
I'll probably have a stream later tonight after the estuary. So
okay, cool. Well, guys, I'm gonna close this out with one last song. This is I consider myself very pop for this this corner of the internet. I'm not as much fringe as anybody on here, and this is the Speakeasy cover band covering a song called Anyone by Justin Bieber. So we're going to end it on a pop note tonight.
Can I get one more word in? Can I get one more
your
word
last word in, co-host.
Okay. I one of my goals in this crazy community is I want to visit a lot of the beloved characters I've met, and I just want to give a shout out to Jacob. If you guys are in LA, make sure you guys go reach out and see him and all his goofballs there. It is a awesome crew. They're so much fun. They're so loving. The conversations in the 3 days I had there were some of my favorite all time. So maybe when I come up in the Northeast, right, Michael? You're in the Northeast?
No, Texas.
San Antonio. I'm like not that far from you.
Wow. Okay. Why did not? So are you in the? Okay. All right. I don't want to take up. Anyways, excuse me for that. My point is,
come by and I'll put you up.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Sure.
Embody, everyone. Y'all have a good night. We're Speakeasy Rock Band. This is Christian Baxter, and you're listening to Yours Truly, a place we go to think out loud.